we're back with a very special edition of 843 TV. We're spending time with Mayor Lisa Sulka of Bluffton. Been here 2 decades, seems so much. And so as you're finishing up your term of mayor, we just enjoy this time talking with you. So a lot of challenges and joys come with your role over time. So let's talk about what are some of the challenges that you've had to experience? Hurricane Matthew is one that comes to mind.
Oh my gosh. I mean, go back to, a mom of 3 being a mayor in a town, in a world of a lot of men. I mean, I grew up in South Carolina and not much changed from me being a teenager to me being a mayor, sadly. But the recession was a challenge as I was getting into my role as mayor. When I was my first week as mayor after 4 years on council, we got horrible results on the May River with fecal going in. That was tough. Then it was followed by the recession, and a town manager. We all tried to keep everyone's job in place. And the blessing of that was creating the Old Town Master Plan, which we can talk about. Matthew was unbelievable because I was always told you're there for 2 reasons: to sign a proclamation, a disaster, some kind of ordinance, and to sign a check. And I literally signed a check in 2017 when checks were going out the door. But other than that, I sat there. And it was a challenge, but we, always saw the glass half full, and I found a way to communicate, and hopefully all the other municipalities and counties followed, because now we all communicate about storms. So that was a challenge. The growth has been a challenge because people that move here don't take the time to learn what this town's all about. I think a lot of people move here for the weather, for the southern feel, but they don't realize what we did 20 years before. That has caused the growth in positive and negative ways. Yeah.
Well, what would you say to somebody that's moving down here now?
Yeah. I ask them to be patient. Number one, you left where you left for a reason. We don't need to bring in all the reasons why you left to our town. Also, don't be the last one in and shut the door. I could tell you there are people, at what point should we have shut the door? Was it 20 years ago? Was it 10 years ago? The largest growth was in the last 10 years. What would you have thought if you moved here in the last 10 years and we said, no, we don't want you, we're fine. So appreciate that you're here. Get involved, educate yourself, and there's so many ways to educate yourself to know what Bluffton's all about. Where did it start? What was the makeup of the town? That's something we want to keep, and we want to keep the town of Bluffton. We're not a city. And we're not going to be.
Thinking about the folks who lived here originally, the Galas, the native folks there, they've got so much history. And how do you balance those folks and preserving, their roots here with all the new stuff?
I agree. Well, I think the biggest key is when we run for office, we do not run by party. I think this whole national political scene is for the oysters. We run nonpartisan. Now I'm sure we all have a belief of some sort, but you have to work for everyone that lives here. And everyone in this town needs to be proud of this town. And I noticed it on Hilton Head, and it was just the amount of growth and the ratio of diversity just was outnumbered. And I just never thought it would be like that here, but I see it. The growth, it's not in ratio with what we were. And we're losing our African American numbers are diluted only because our growth is so great. And the Hispanic is rising. So we have to make a place where everyone's proud of this town. And that's my goal, to do that.
I think you've done a wonderful job in showing your pride. And speaking of that, what are some of the top joys that you would share?
Oh my gosh, my children and other families' children are moving back here. When my oldest daughter was a senior at Clemson, her plans were to go to Boston, Washington. There was nothing here. It wasn't that long ago. Eva Care Corps started. And I'll give it a shot. I'll apply. She got the job. She's been with them from the start, and she's been promoted from within. Haley was in Charleston. COVID, bad, but what's good, a lot of kids moved back here, and they had jobs. So the jobs that have been created to keep our kids or get them back has been like...
That is so important. As a mom of 3 as well, high school and college, that's something that I've got to think, thinking about too. What's here for them you know.
And real quick, they all have friends that want to move here.
Of course.
So now the pride and all we've done, like what we've invested in Old Town, for every $1 million we've invested with our public money is 10 times private. That's huge. That's kind of walk in town and see.
Yeah.
Little bit of start. We need some seed money, and now the kids love it.
Absolutely. What's not to love, right? So we're going to take one more break, and you stay right here. We're going to be back with 843 TV.